There are two kinds of people in this world: those that are completely terrified and have their very identity wrapped around the way things have always seemed. People that are not ready for change and the unveiling of the truth of existence. And then there are those of us that are hungry and yearning for the breaking down of the status quo. Those of us that are ready for something entirely different. To be here for the mixing and to release into the celebration of being. We have already came to the realization that the power lies in the all, the universal. The truth of life turns out to be in becoming synchronized with the greater ways and standing affirmative with existence. So Prince Harry has his Nerd node on the Taurus Gemini cusp. And in layman's term, Nerd node or your destiny path in Gemini is to adapt to a humanistic approach, becoming perceptive to the multifaceted way of life and the way that the divine chooses to portray itself. Gemini energy, in a nutshell, is the ability to intermingle and interact freely with all kinds of people, as well as an immense receptivity to different perspectives and respecting the basic freedom of another. Now, South Node in Sagittarius is very similar to Gemini energy in the sense that they're both people-oriented signs. Sagittarius is known as the unifier, and it understands that the universe is made up of the whole. But also Sag energy, when it's not evolved, could allow for some selection mechanisms, which could translate into enlightened elitism. The United States has Sagittarius on the ascendant, so even though we're all created equal, we also happen to have a terrible history of racism, and marginalization still prevails. His South Node in Sagittarius in the 10th house of our public reputation tells us that in his earlier upbringing, he had a very elite public identity as Prince Harry. But Harry wanted more. He was no longer interested in being known as just Prince Harry. So it became in his soul's best interest to wander into the depths of his being, North Node in the 4th house, and truly find out what he was made of instead of the inherited public identity. This destiny involved meeting and falling in love and building a home with Meghan Markle, who's so very different from the circle he grew up with. He was raised around probably the most wealthiest English society. But then he meets Meghan, who's not only American but also half black. Like, probably the only time the royal family ever interacts with people outside of their elite circle is when they're on one of their royal tours. But Harry, like the late Princess Diana, did things differently. He married someone that was different from him. Meghan was a symbol of breaking that long-held status quo. There were people that were seriously disturbed, even outside of the royal family, which is why Meghan Markle faced so much hatred and ridicule. For the longest, the royal family have been seen as God's chosen family. Marrying into the family seen as, one of the highest honors for some people. No one was expecting of a woman like Meghan Markle, not only foreign, but also half black, to be part of the mix. In a sense, it's like similar to what happened with Game of Thrones and the House of the Dragon. They introduced a black central character. And some of the fans, to say the least, are going ballistic. Or when they recasted Halle Bailey as the Little Mermaid and the world just lost it. It's like, how dare you change the narrative we've been conditioned to believe? Or when FKA Twigs and Rob broke up because people were literally bullying her online. People, they couldn't deal with the fact that their white Prince Charming was dating someone not fully white. It's like, how dare you steal our white prince from us? That's just literally like the saddest thing. In all of these cases, there's this deep fear of infiltration. Like, believe it or not, there's people in this world that don't have a definitive sense of self, and like their whole identity is based around the groups that they associate with. The movies and shows they watch. When someone different infiltrates, they actually feel threatened by the mixing of these groups of people they considered other or beneath themselves. I do believe that Harry and Meghan are soulmates. The world has went to so many extremes to tear them apart because some people in this world are not willing to evolve to the next level. Some people are not ready to break it apart from their distorted worldviews. But I do believe the divine will always prevails. And I think Harry and Meg will always find the protection they need. And the people that love them know that their hearts are pure and true, and that's all that really matters. You know, they truly love helping the parts of the world that have been robbed of everything, and for that, they'll always find blessings. Harry's continuing on his mother's legacy and knows in his heart that she would have been proud of him and how he chose to facilitate his destiny aside from the monarchy.
I see it in the newest generation of activists for equality and justice, who are mobilizing people of all ages and races, all faiths and walks of life, to lace up their shoes and join the march. And I see it in the parents I meet around the world, as determined as Mandela was to give their children a better shot at a brighter future, to prioritize their own and their children's mental health and well-being, to reject old ideas and past prejudices, to heal from the past and build resilience for the present and future.